Is it almost over? Are we done? Are we nearly done? I don't know how much more of this I can take. Not the beer. Not the beer, of course. I can drink beer all day. Picard. Episode 9. Et in Arcadia Ego 1. Let's do this. Hello, everyone. Michael, aka the Trek Lad here. Welcome back to the live stream, the Picard rewatch. It's been a tumultuous 8 days. It's day 9, episode 9, the penultimate. We're nearly done. Yay, we can move on to better things. Hello. Come say hi in the live chat. Let me know how you're feeling. Come watch it with us. I've got some really cool guests today. They've both been there we go. They've both joined me on this journey at various points, and we're gonna have a triple team up today. Let's roll them out in no particular order. We do have the almighty Starfleet boy. Hello, sir.
Sorry, I can't get that out of my head when you did the impression of that music. Hello.
We also have Totty, Trek on the Tube. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, mate. How we doing?
Hey, John, mate.
Is that your new accent?
I don't like the balance that we've got here. Let me move. That's better. There we go. We can have the two of you up there.
Oh, wow.
I'm down here. That's, shit rolls downhill. There you go. So you can just chuck it all at me. And
yeah, exactly. I'd just like to say that the upper level of the streamers are better than the lower levels. So
yeah, absolutely.
How'd you feel now?
I mean, nothing's really changed.
I joined you on episode 4, and now we're on episode 9, and it really does feel like we were two captains off, like, fighting a war, and you've come back and you've lost all of your battles. You feel like just dead. You look like you've gone through a whole lot of shit.
I've physically aged. Like, I mean, and obviously people will go, well, yes, it's been 9 days. Well, no, I have aged 20 years over the last 9 days, and I feel it in my bones. As I was turning everything on and sitting down, everything cracks now. That wasn't the case before I started this journey. Anyway, look, I'm glad you guys are with me. Starfleet boy, we know that you love Picard, and
love it. I'm so glad I'm here for this episode. Sorry.
You're
so excited.
You're hopefully going to be able to join me for both nights. You're going to be here today and tomorrow.
Yes.
Totty is making a wonderful, glorious cameo appearance today. Won't be able to join tomorrow, but
yeah,
because he's like, I know how this ends. I just want to see the devastation, then I'll creep out the door. Oh shit! Starfleet boy, first time you watched Et in Arcadia Ego 1, what were your thoughts?
I was in it. I didn't have a chance this time to go back and watch my original kind of reactions to it, but just going off memory, I just remember that I was really impressed with the scale of this episode. Like, I felt like with the Borg cube and all that stuff coming up in this episode, like, it was just really impressive. And then I was very fascinated by the synth population on the planet and like everything, and just like meeting the other versions of Soji's, the Soji type androids or whatever, and the synths, and of course Brent Spiner's cameo, and then Data. There's a lot of good stuff for me in this. Like, it was just a very satisfying thing.
Same to you, Totty. When you first watched this episode, what was running through your mind?
This is him and me, and he was like just loving it. I was dead inside. I hated this shit. This was garbage. I was like, maybe the second episode will catch this up, because it's only part 1. So sometimes I like, honestly, Star Trek has a spotty history with two-parters. Either the first part or the second part is garbage, and but this came out, and I was like, what are they doing? Where's this going? I didn't like it.
We're going to relive it, and to you wonderful people that are joining in the live chat, thank you, welcome. Let's go and say hello quickly. We got Jijong Girl. I am going to master the pronunciation of that by the end of this.
It's She-Shan.
She-Shan
Girl.
She-Shan by the she shells. She-Shan girls. Hello, gents. Bowtrek.
Woohoo! PJ's here. Awesome.
I'm ready.
Got it queued up.
We got a returning champion, Earl Grey Trekkie. Look at this great. Love it. We got Trek Cat.
Yep.
Hello, welcome. We've got Sam from the Hill. Hello there to you.
Nice view up there.
Well, we got this guy.
Who's that? Who's that clown?
Who's that guy? We've got my favorite podcast name of all time.
Yeah, we have a podcast.
Yeah, but there you go. And Elbow Trick kicking us off. Mixed on this episode. Yeah. Let us know what you think about the episode. We're going to get started with this in a couple of minutes. We're going to queue this up. We're going to be watching this all together. So if you've got it on CBS All Access or Amazon Prime, if you got a Blu-ray or a DVD or a VHS or a Betamax or iTunes or whatever, if you've got it, come watch it with us. How are you guys watching it? Are you watching it both on CBS or no? Totti, you don't have CBS All Access,
right?
No, we have the Crave in the Canadas.
The Crave.
The Crave.
Yeah, I'm doing
we
CBS
all need
All
our Paramount
Access.
Plus. It'll be easier later on. I hope Paramount Plus has one of those like watch together buttons where
yeah, they really need to
post, so
Well,
that
if
everyone can do their watch alongs for Star Trek. That would be great.
If you have Amazon Prime UK, you can do that with TrekLad apparently. So yeah, there's a link in the chat to do that. Yeah.
You can. Yeah, it's a fun feature. I mean, watch-alongs are going to be something that are going to be featured on this channel a lot going forward. And I've been kind of playing around with the technology because ideally I'd like everybody to kind of watch it at the same time. And ideally when I do some more kind of in-depth deep dives, I'd like to be able to like pause it and then go, let's talk about this bit in like 3-hour discussions. Coming soon, everyone. But yeah, we're going to queue it up in a second. We're going to get going with it. By the way, before we do get going, the Paramount Plus content reveal. You guys see what's coming? Because I thought that Paramount Plus was going to be launching with like 3 things, but they've got so much content.
It's really exciting.
Is this original content, or is this just
just like their whole library too? And then I guess they have they're doing Frasier's coming back. We didn't obviously we're a little Trek focused, but I think Frasier's coming back. A bunch of things like are coming to Paramount Plus, which is really cool.
They're also I read it that they are planning on doing the home release a lot sooner. Like, so HBO Max are doing like they're releasing in cinema, but then releasing on the platform at the exact same time. They're doing like a simul release. Paramount Plus are going to be releasing Mission Impossible 7 40 days after it premieres in cinemas, which is like unheard of. Again, kind of more death of cinema, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand the 40-day thing. Like I don't see the shades of gray in this. It's either you release the movie at the same time in cinemas and on the platform, or you wait the usual amount of days. That like 40, like what are they expecting people to go see? If you announce like the people that are gonna wait 40 days, I don't know how to explain it. Like the people that are gonna watch it in cinema won't wait 40 days. Like they'll see it in those first 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah,
it's a bit bizarre.
It sounds to me like a bit of a hedging of bets, really. Hoping that people will pay the premium to go and have the cinematic experience, and then hoping that they love it so much that they'll then enjoy it 40 days later on maybe the platform. But then for the people who are, I don't want to die going to the cinema. There's that.
I don't think it's, not to go too far into this, but I don't think it's going to be the death of cinema. I think it's going to be the evolution of it. I'm hoping we'll get a lot more quality in cinemas because people will, and unfortunately it might also mean that cinema prices will go up though. But like, I think you can't replace the experience of like, I think it's going to, unfortunately you're right that like many chain cinemas with like the screens that are no bigger than most people's home screens are going to go out of business. But I think the IMAXs and like these like like epic experiences will survive and be
I hope
the
all the
thing.
little fancy schmancy art house kind of little
Yeah, I think
places
those
exist,
will
because
survive as
I
well.
like going, like when I need to see like the first feature film from a YouTuber, or when I need to see some sort of like underground New Zealand thing. The only place I can go is like these little sketchy Montreal places, and I hope they survive and continue on, because you in the big cinemas, when Disney pays to have their movie projected all the time in every fucking room. Yeah.
It's definitely, it's going to be interesting to see how cinema, traditional cinema copes with kind of what's going on, and if it can recover. I hope it does, because I mean, I think all three of us love going to the cinema as an event experience. I do appreciate that we've spent quite a bit of time talking already. We are going to watch Picard. I am trying to kind of delay it, as you may have noticed. I want to ask you guys, and for those who are in the chat, here's a question. Paramount Plus are going to be looking to push a lot of kind of premium original content. And an idea that's kind of been floating in my head is, could this be a really good idea, a good time to develop and release on streaming a new Star Trek feature?
Yeah, I think the Kelvin fourth film should be. I actually wanted to I want him to wrap it up a little, or give him one more go.
I agree, but the movie costed too much for the big screen. You really think they're going to come back for like a VOD thing?
I think that I have a weird feeling there's a demand for it. There's enough fans, I think, who really want it, and then fans like me who could take it or leave it, but I'd rather take it. So I like the Kelvin timeline. I just kind of want to see it.
Here's my thought. Is I think that a lot of people sign up for these streaming services, and then they kind of can't be bothered to cancel. I mean, I know some people do go and cancel stuff, but some people you can either sign up for an annual subscription, so that'll be, instead of paying $20 for a cinema ticket, you pay $59.99. You get Paramount Plus for a year, and they kind of count that as the that goes towards the film. And I do feel, I mean, it would be risky putting 200 mil down on. They probably won't do 200 mil. They'll see if they can do it. They'll do
make a Star Trek movie for 80 or 90 mil, like a Deadpool movie. Stop throwing just amounts of cash at Star Trek. It doesn't work.
You could
the more money you give it, the more shit it is.
Yeah, you could do a Star Trek movie for 80 to 100 mil. Do that. Yes. It's a gamble, but with the right backing, they could do it. I'm sure they could do it, right? But then, sell the streaming experience, premium experience, $20, whatever, or sell the annual subscription plus $59.99, whatever. I reckon there would be enough people who would go, Star Trek movie, new Star Trek movie, yeah, I'm going to sign up. It would bring in the casuals, especially if it's a Kelvin movie and you've got Zachary Quinto, Chris Pine, and all that kind of lot. And then what would inevitably happen is there would be probably enough people that would sign up and then probably just forget to cancel. I mean, and I speak from experience as someone that signs up for streaming services and forgets, because there are too many of the buggers out there these days. But that's my thought. And I really wouldn't be surprised if in the next year, and maybe even sooner, we hear about a Star Trek movie being made.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that my intention was to sign up for CBS All Access just to see Discovery, and then I was going to cancel in between seasons, but I never have canceled because they've been actually providing a nice steady stream of Star Trek content, and also CBS got better with like their offerings. Like there's a lot of great comedy shows and stuff like that on there, and now Paramount Plus looks very promising. So yeah, you're right about that.
We will see.
By the way, Rob Chapman, who's here, Trekkie Rob, he's watching Star Trek 09 as we speak.
You better
Rob,
stop that because we're watching Picard.
Yeah, switch to Picard.
No. Rob, keep watching. Keep watching 09. Keep watching 09.
Watch them both and watch us. Watch everything.
It's like
Trekline is sabotaging his own stream.
Don't watch Picard with us. Don't watch it.
I'm talking about the Lower Decks movie. I actually think that the most realistic project, like based on I'm assuming Prodigy will be a success. I actually think that's probably the project that has the most chances of becoming a film in the years to come. Because I don't know, just like an animated kids movie, if the show works, then they will take it to the big screen like they did for the Lego Ninjago. They've got people that have already kind of worked in the cinematic industry, not just TV show world. So I think that's an animated movie for kids released on streaming service, I think is less scary as like losing money kind of thing for like a big Paramount player like a Viacom CBS company than throwing your Chris Hemsworths and your Chris Pines on the little screens.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I feel like there would probably be there would be an issue of people claiming illegitimacy as a movie, and they'll go, "Oh, that's just a direct-to-release effort, and I'm not going to count it in my canon." And I do think, though, if you have your above-the-line budget and it's got Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, I know that a lot of people would sign up for the Star Trek shows on Paramount Plus. You would get a lot of casual interest. People that are lapsed Star Trek fans who are going, I won't sign up for Paramount Plus. I hate that Star Trek Discovery and that Burnham character. And as soon as they hear about a Kelvin movie, they'll go, oh yeah, I like Star Trek again. I'm coming back.
I think they're the same people. I think the same people that complain about Alex Kurtzman are the same people that complain about J.J. Abrams, and so the Kelvin timeline and Discovery, because they put them in the same timeline.
That's very true.
For some goddamn reason.
Yeah.
Discovery is prime timeline, people. I don't need this. You people watching us, you guys know.
A lot of in the chat about Lower Decks film would be awesome. Yeah, we've already had a Lower Decks film though. Crisis Point is a film, right?
That's true. Very good.
Right, gents, should we? I've held off for nearly 20 minutes, but we need to do this.
We had to give folks time to show up, and now it seems like everyone's here. So
we've done it.
I also still can't believe Disney didn't do our idea, which was, in order to save the world, release Black Widow in theaters with a COVID vaccine. So, like, people have to go get vaccinated to go and watch the movie. Just pay for the vaccines, Disney, and people will go see your movies.
That's so weird, but I actually would do that for the theme park. I would totally go to the theme park if they gave me a vaccine like 2 weeks ahead of time, because you need time for it to like
fair enough.
like to
when you pre-order your tickets for like the big Marvel movie, they send a vaccine or whatever.
Or what they do.
I hate to say this, as good as an idea that is, just because it ends up being fun, it is a little exploitative, and I don't think anyone would actually do
guys, I've literally just come up with the greatest Star Trek movie idea of all time. All right, you don't even need to make a new Star Trek movie. Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan in innovative 4D. Okay, so you're watching the battle of the Mutara Nebula. Okay, and we get to the point where we got the standoff, the lights are flashing. You're like, where the fuck are they? Right, as soon as the Reliant fires, a load of syringes start firing at the audience, filled with COVID vaccines. I'm a genius.
I'm convinced I'm in the mirror universe. I think I landed in the mirror universe.
That's it. That's it. And people go, I went and watched a Star Trek movie and it literally saved my life. Done.
It also happen. Injured me severely when the one needle hit my eye.
If it's the Mutara Nebula scene, then there's not too many needles. It's fine. But if you do that with like Beyond, then you're just gonna get completely wrecked by the battle scene at the end.
One went in my eye and one went in my popcorn box, and it wasn't a good time for that. Right, look, we've held off for too long. It's time for Picard. So let's bring it down.
Woo!
Sahel, get me through this, Sahel.
Let's do it. We're
gonna do. If this is your first time joining, I'm sure it's not. Most people have joined us at this point. We're gonna be talking all over this. What we like about the episode, what we don't like about the episode, what we could potentially improve, which I mean, I guess Sahel's probably going to be quite quiet for that stuff, but we will see.
It's too late at this point.
Hey, I surprised myself with Stardust City Rag. I had quite a lot of critiques for it, so we'll see what happens. So
we will see. Let's do this, gentlemen. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Live chat. Are you ready? Well, let's go. I'm going to do a countdown from 10. As soon as I say go, we go. And brace yourselves. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Woo! There's previously on Star Trek.
Yeah,
Picard.
let's we'll keep the previously on going, just for universal consistency.
Yes. Done. It's the same girl. What?
Oh my god, Jana! What an amazing drawing that is as well.
Yeah, it's actually really good. That was Beautiful Flower who drew that picture, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm. A nice callback to Data's love of art.
We are Borg. It makes me quite sad that all the Borg got ejected into space.
Yeah. It was sad.
I had literally forgotten all of this.
Yeah, me too, kind of.
I
Not
had
really.
erased all
That's
of the
not true.
Borg garbage from my mind.
I had that Rick and I had a mind blower, and
I got you. Oh, nice. Boat wrecks in sync. Does this begin just with... Oh, no, it does this. That's right.
it really bothered me that the Transwarp conduit just appeared out of nowhere. The Transwarp hub appeared out of nowhere because we see them in Voyager and they're giant structures in space.
It's very elaborate technology.
I like this these shots of them, like, kind of in awe of this, like... This would look really great in your 4D experience that you were talking about earlier.
Well,
Like
and then as you're like, syringe.
Everyone would be sick.
Capalius, I believe, is the name of this planet.
You can't really complain about the visuals in this episode. I mean, the fact that that planet had a storm front moving through it, it's a level of detail that you don't see in less.
I mean, see, even Rios is impressed. He leans forward. Right?
Yeah. One of my interesting disappointment for me was that they made a big deal about this planet being like identifiable by the fact that there's always storms, and there's really not that many storms. Like, you do see a couple of thunderstorms like from space, and you do see like lightning bolts later.
I remember complaining about that. Yeah,
that was the only thing that I was like, oh, I thought it'd be a lot stormier, but it would have been bad for production to like film in constant storms.
I tell you what was stormy. Script.
boom.
Wow.
So is everyone in sync? Is everyone watching?
Yeah, it seems
along?
like-
or PJ's watching along at least.
Yeah. That's an interesting red alert. It harkens back to the original series. And here it is. Oh no, that's that's
this is
Derek's
the
tiny little shuttle. I'm surprised they can't dispatch that really easily.
good reflexes from the last Serenity.
Mm-hmm. And they have seatbelts. Pikachu, Captain Pikachu will be very happy about that.
Yes, there they are.
Compliant.
Finally learned. I think that's why it's our favorite episode.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't get it though.
Compliance.
This is supposed to be like a cargo ship, basically. He does cargo runs with it, but it's also like a super. I don't know. It looks like a race ship as well because you got the seatbelts. It's got.
Unless it
makes sense. You have to do the
cargo.
Kessel Run in like less than 12 parsecs. You have to have like a very fast ship, you know.
I agree. That's very true.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be a ship that might connect to a larger ship that is part of a cargo freighter. I don't know. That's a leap. I don't care.
I love that Picard is reminding everyone the right thing to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
This is a Nausicaan ship, and that other one kind of reminded me of that.
Is that a Nausicaan ship?
Yeah.
Huh. When did we ever see a Nausicaan ship? Oh,
Yeah, I don't
Enterprise.
remember. That's so beautiful, and that sound, and that wow, and excuse me, the tilt from like right side up to upside down. Like,
So I made the mistake of watching this with full bass the first time, and my house shook.
That's not a mistake.
Borg
That's
Cube
the
got
right
that
thing to do.
Me and Sean discussed this episode last year, but didn't bother to discuss the second part.
Space flowers to save the day.
I like this because it's so original. Like, it's so weird and far out. It actually reminded me of the animated series a little bit.
I do like I like the concept, but catching a Borg cube,
Yeah,
and halting
it is a down, like a injured Borg cube, if you will, right? Like, it's not a fully functional one, though.
Well, surely it should be even heavier and more dangerous because there's nothing stopping it. The brakes are off, and
Well, we get that epic scene coming up, Trek Lad. Remember, like where it crashes into the atmosphere and it creates like a huge shock wave, and it's like nuts.
I think that these space flowers are like a really cool idea, and I think they're visually, kind of stunning. I guess they're really well done. It's just like many things in Picard, the execution is a bit awkward. Like, I like the lore and the concept and the idea of it, but in the episode, I'm just unimpressed by it.
I would like to see this on the big screen.
I really think that something the size of a Borg cube hitting a planet surely would wipe a planet out.
No, it's not that big.
Well, I mean, let's say it's a couple of miles wide. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs was like 6 miles wide.
Oh wait, I like the scene. Sorry. He's like, "Thank you for coming, everyone." I think there's more to it, but I don't think we're gonna get anything. But I like it was so mysterious and interesting. I wanted to know more about that.
I don't want to say because I don't want to spoil. But so hey, I'll just compare this to another show. Compare the situation to like what happens in another show, and think of the devastation.
What other show are you talking about?
I don't want to spoil.
Yep, I know what you're saying. Okay, a couple things, and this is like all headcanon, of course, but like the Borg cube is not crashing in the same way that like a rock would crash into the planet. Let's just say like an asteroid, perhaps, or whatever. And I would say it is the size of a small asteroid, but it's like this is a different type of thing. Also, there's all kinds of things we don't know about Coppelius, like the density of the atmosphere and things like that.
That's a good point. But let's say it does create. I mean, it's a sizable object in space that is connecting with the ground of Coppelius. Surely it would smash at least a couple of windows at the compound. Like, that place is pristine. Like, maybe a pot could be on the floor, cracked. Something hit the planet.
But also, I just want to point out that it seems to soft land in the sense that maybe they were able to use some sort of maneuvering thrusters or something to kind of soft land it.
Softened by the flowers.
Because somehow it should have actually just like shattered and obliterated. I think a true crash landing would have like created a lot more havoc.
Well, yeah, there should have been no more cube by the end of it.
Earl Grey Trekkie has a really good point. I mean, the dropping of the Borg plot. I mean, they literally dropped the Borg.
Yeah, it just goes away. It's true. That is a disappointment.
But literally, the Borg cube. Just see ya. Let's not talk about it ever again. Oh, Akiva Goldsman directed this. Okay.
I kind of feel like everything Borg related was just justification to get 7 of 9 on the show.
They could have done it without, but I think also to bring Hugh back. I think I think it was, I think there's going to be stuff. Hopefully, I'm hoping there's going to be stuff.
Because you didn't even need to deal with like the Picard trauma of being Borg at some point. Like, we didn't need that in this show.
I maintain that this is 3 seasons of really good content that's just been squashed into one 10-episode run. You could have had Romulan synth chaos in season 1, Borg XB liberation conflict in season 2, a return to the synth Romulan conflict season 3, Picard dies, and then Picard actually dies at the end.
Yeah, I don't know what went through their mind to like. Why did they want to kill him so early?
To give us
to bring him back.
Well, they're
playing the short game though. It's like, that you can have Sir Patrick Stewart, for like 3 seasons. So do the 3 seasons. Kill him at the end of the 3rd.
They wanted to give him a death scene that rivaled what Hugh Jackman got in Logan.
Oh, wow.
It reminds me of that when I see it. It
that went
reminds me.
wrong.
Of that. But it's a really poignant scene. Picard's death scene. There's a lot of forced emotion in it, but it's all completely undone when they bring him back a minute later because we all knew it was coming. Can you imagine if they just kept him dead and then they renamed the La Sirena as the Picard?
Oh, that would have been interesting too.
You know what? That would have been so fucking bold. Because he's not the main character anyway. The main character is Soji.
Yeah, and Soji becomes the character, and she's got so much legacy in
that would have been
And the Sirena is the Picard, and that's why it's called Star Trek Picard. Yeah, it's really clever. I like that actually. We didn't get that though.
I stole that concept from somebody else
Okay.
smarter than me. But no, I think it's a really neat idea. And maybe they could have had something where Picard is uploaded to a computer, so he is dead, but maybe he can appear as a hologram, and because they have all this, they delete the Rios programs because Rios would be letting go of abusing himself because that's why they exist. He'd free it up, and Picard could take those spots.
No, because that takes away from it again. You just need him gone. No,
Get rid of him. Go away.
I know what you're saying. No, it's just the way your execution. You just need him gone. Get him out of here. Picard should have freaked out with Agnes standing over him, murderer killer. I agree with that.
The last person you want helping you with anything.
Earl Grey Trekkie says, I think they killed him to make the point that synths are just as important as humans or humanoids and shouldn't be treated differently. I do agree with that.
Yeah, but that's stuff that we learn in infant school.
So
It's just
do like the people that create the show sincerely believe that Star Trek fans think so little of synths they literally need to take our favorite character and make him one so that we appreciate them? It's like we've been fans of Data.
We spent 7 years treating Data.
I mean, we didn't need you to make Picard one. Anyway, Agnes went from one of my favorite characters to one of my least favorite in the span of 5 episodes here. She went from the most interesting and compelling character that there was because she was a scientist to the girl who cries all the time, the murderer, the why is she even free?
Agnes was a weird. The whole Stardust City's rag definitely was a weird choice to do all those things to those characters. You're 100% right.
What's she called? Alison Pill, I think she's called.
Yeah, she's great, by the way.
Good actress.
She's better in Divs than she is in this.
Yeah, Devs, she's great in that. That's true.
She's great in American Horror Story too. She's Or did you say that?
I said she was good in Divs.
What's that?
It's about developers.
I think he's called Alex Garland, the guy who made Annihilation.
Oh yeah,
and Ex Machina. He made Divs. That wasn't too good. Those visual effects weren't too good.
Magic Wand's going to fix it though, and it will fix the paint job too.
That looks like a regular gun, like the handle of it.
It looks more Enterprise, actually.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the scale.
That doesn't look good either.
Really, I thought it looks great. I like to see the scale of the La Sirena.
Oh my god, that bloody necklace! We get it. No one wears their necklace over their shirt.
Rafi was just talking about something that massive falling that fast.
The symbol on the ship behind Picard.
Is that the NatWest sign in the background?
It's like a recycle.
That's ignore me. I'll say something British.
Okay.
It's a siren track on the tube, and it looks like one. But I know what you're saying. It kind of looks like a recycling symbol. It's
meant to look like a recycling symbol. Yeah.
It's meant to look a bit infinite, I think.
Okay. So you can tell all that is fake. All of that.
I mean,
it's fine. It's acceptable for a TV show. I'm fine with it.
I didn't really have much of a problem with any of that. I do like how alien some of this the vegetation
landscape.
Looks. Yeah.
It is huge.
Look, it's not all just blue, which
it's soft landed for sure. Because look at the size of that thing. You're right. It is miles big.
It should have caused some problems.
But if it's soft landed, then it explains that.
Trek Cat got that reference.
Now I need to go and look that up. NatWest,
NatWest, mate. Yeah. It's what
Oh,
we say
okay.
in the
It
UK.
is. It is. Okay. It's a bank.
I was a little upset that they dropped the Elnor Picard relationship too, but I do like him pairing up with
They dropped Elnor entirely.
No, they didn't drop him, but they just
Well,
kind of
they-
sent
they-
him on a different direction. Like,
Yeah.
Elnor is the Finn of Star Trek.
Who's
Like,
Finn?
Finn from Star Wars.
Oh, Finn. Okay, got it.
They introduce him like he's going to be someone important, but then poor character and poor actor just gets abandoned and gets sidelined by a whole bunch of other shit, where they could have been very interesting characters. Picard, you're alive.
I don't mind his arm showing.
That is a good introduction shot for Seven, though.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
She looks amazing. She's like 70,000 years old. That's an exaggeration.
I don't like the disrespect that she has though for like the dead.
Oh, it's deadest, isn't it?
No, I just don't like the general disrespect that.
I'm sorry,
The
but those
show
people
has-
were those Romulans. Were they just trying to kill me? I would kick them around a little after they died. I'm
What do
sorry.
you fucking know? They could just be Romulans having it like they needed a job.
No, all of the Romulans on the Borg cube were bad. I'm sorry. They were all really
Oh, yeah.
awful.
All of
like
them.
every
all of
single
them.
one.
Just
Every single one of
despicable
them. Yeah.
humans.
They go to the
Despicable
Romulan job center. I'll just sign me up for anything.
You know what? You're just as bad as all the humans back on Earth, you xenophobic prick. You automatically assume all the Romulans are terrible people.
They are on this cube. They all knew what they were doing. I promise you.
Well, what about there's plenty of people that were there working just looking for jobs. You know what I mean?
That's not how it works on the Borg reclamation project, by the
Yes, it is. So she
No,
goes
it's a
there.
highly sensitive establishment. You need lots of clearance to get there. Yeah, that's a little overkill.
None of them do anything.
They're gonna destroy the planet. They were meant to destroy the planet. That's right.
You could destroy the planet with like one torpedo. I mean, and it's like one house.
Or one
It's
Borg
true.
cube.
It is
Yeah.
one house. It is just a house or like a compound. It's true.
You can leave the rest of the planet. She's like, repairs planet sterilization program 15.
Good tea. Nice house.
I'm still waiting to see
the
why
you
Seven
go
has such a
ahead.
connection with Hugh.
Because
I
I
don't-
I'll join you. Sorry.
What's he saying? Oh yeah,
No, we missed it now. Oh well, too bad. I'm trying to point out moments where I think Sir Patrick Stewart's acting isn't top game, and I want to know what Sir Hale thinks.
I can already tell you that I think you're full of shit when you're doing that, and you don't know, and you also don't know anything about acting if you're gonna do that. So go ahead.
All right, fine. I won't fight you on that.
He's
All
a
right,
master class actor. I'm sorry.
I agree.
If you're saying that, like, then you don't know anything about acting.
No, it's
I
just
can literally feel Mr. Picard raging on Twitter. He's heard it through subspace, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What?"
I actually think that it's not like because I'm not saying this as in like Sir Patrick Stewart is incompetent. I'm saying that he's actually pushing, and he said it. He was pushing more of himself into the performance, and so I feel it's kind of ego on the part of Sir Patrick Stewart where he wants to put himself more on the show than Picard, and so sometimes it comes across a little weird in the performance. But I do think everything he's doing is very much a choice. It's not incompetence.
I do want to say quickly, just to we'll come back to that, but I do feel like the score in this episode is particularly strong. Yeah, it's probably the best. It has some of the best isolated music that I've so far heard. How has no one approached them? They're like right on their doorstep. See, no broken windows, no damage, no nothing. I get where you're coming from on Sir Patrick Stewart, but he's just an old man now. Like, and I was saying in a previous episode, when people sing, their vocal cords as they get older become weaker, and I think it's the same for your acting ability. I mean, he's an older man, but at the end of the day, he's playing an older Picard, more infirm, quicker to anger. He can't. His diplomacy, perhaps his patience, isn't where it used to be.
Well, he has this aromatic syndrome, which if you've ever seen someone deal with dementia, they have wild mood swings and things like that. So, I would also say that, like, if there is any fault, then I would be first to blame the editing before I would blame Sir Patrick as in his choices. I would say that the editing is what
Or maybe the
made it
directing,
work.
like the
Or even the
director.
directing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember. I mean, he was in the writers' room for this season, and obviously put forward a load of ideas. I remember that he was talking about this having a massive kind of whiff of Brexit, and I honestly, I don't know if that just means I'm dumb and I can't get political allegory, but I never really saw it here. I never really caught a lot of political. I mean, you could make a case that the Romulan stuff and this is very similar to the Syrian refugee crisis.
I think that's it. I think it's a reference to like the racism or the fact that the Federation don't want to get anywhere near the Romulans, and kind of how Brexit is all about the separation. I think that's kind of what it is. But also, people like to see what, like, because some people saw Brexit and like commentary on Trump or commentary on what's his face, your version of Trump over there,
British Trump.
People.
I don't want to get too political.
No. But I'm just saying, people saw that in like Beyond, and I was like, I don't.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah.
I going back to this episode, that was a really beautiful moment with this character who reminds me a lot of Data, and I think it's interesting how each of these characters kind of incorporate different versions of Brent Spiner's Data into their performance. So I really enjoyed that, and then. There he is, Inigo.
It also feels very original series. The way they're dressed, the whole like aesthetic and ambiance of kind of like the place where they are. I don't know. It feels very toss.
And I'm gonna say right now, really quickly, that I absolutely hate this soon. I really do. Like the whole
Inigo
point.
Soon, you don't like him?
No, it's stupid. Like I thought the whole point of Data and Law was that Dr. Soon was creating children because he couldn't have children. Nowhere is this guy even mentioned. It's like saying
this is my theory on this. My theory on this is that he's actually he is a child from a previous marriage that didn't work out, and so he never talked about him, and maybe he didn't even have a big hand in his upbringing.
He's the cyborg of the Sung family.
Yeah, he's the cyborg of the Sung family.
I mean, yeah, I mean that.
But it is true that this did diminish that. I had that same idea, Michael, about the boys, about the Data and Lore. Yeah, I had that same concept. I thought.
Yeah. I guess hate is a strong word. I don't hate it. I dislike it. I don't like it. Yeah. I also wish you do notice in the background you're seeing a lot of twins, a lot of sets of androids. I wish we'd kind of limited it to like maybe 4 twins that were replicated throughout the community, because there's perhaps a little bit too much uniqueness in the simps or the androids. I guess I like the idea that Soji and Daj were unique and really a push through the barrier of the evolution of android life.
I don't think that the other androids should have been twins. I think all the other androids should have just been androids, but they should have been more
F android models and things like that.
Yeah, like more B4s than like more B4s or more laws, like more screw-ups or chess trials. And then the really good ones are the Soji and Daj. And then maybe the other twins. There's the Soji, Daj, and then the other ones, which are all the same actor. Right?
He shares...
those are the best.
He shares Noonan's naivety about his creations, though. Up until now, he's really unaware of this character. What's her name? Sutra. He's really unaware of Sutra's kind of ability to become evil, right? And then he finds out. He's kind of horrified. And then the other thing I thought that was interesting about him is that he spent like years apparently building this golem for himself, and he just
drives me mad.
And then he just gives it to Picard. It's like,
where was it? I mean, in a show that is built on foundations upon foundations and layers on layers of conflict, that's the Soon that we never knew, the cyborg Soon, just goes, yeah, you can have the golem that I wanted to prolong my life.
It's kind of sad, right?
Yeah, it's bollocks.
Or at least make a bigger point at least make a bigger point about the fact that, because maybe it's because he thought all of his creations were good, and so he wanted to live with them. But now he's realized that they can be dicks, so he gives up.
It's really good.
So at least make a point of saying that. Oh, now he's pissed off because everything he's made is all shit. He
All
just
it
wants to
needed
die
was just
now.
one line. I don't want to live with these people. They're crazy.
I thought they were nice, but oh my god! I mean, fine, you have it.
It did. I mean, I saw.
You know she's evil the moment she appears on screen, though.
She looks
like the moment.
Issa
the moment
Briones
she gets there.
in that makeup looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like and you see the evolution, you see the legacy, Data's legacy, and it's not just in the golden contacts. It's just in the way she moves, the way she speaks.
Yeah.
She actually kind of reminds me of Mother now from Raised by Wolves.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, not seen it yet, but I don't like this. I don't like a synth doing a mind meld, but
I remember
apparently
being-
other beings have done mind melds,
Yeah.
not just Vulcans, and Vulcans have done it to like tech as well. So, I guess. But it's
I
just
guess
bizarre that she learned
Vulcans are the organic practitioners of such a technique, and these are robots. These are my iPhone, and they're reading my mind.
They're a little more advanced than your iPhone, and there's a suggestion that they have they're synths in the same sense that the Battlestar Galactica Cylons are. They're indistinguishable. They have biological components, but just that they're able to regenerate their cell, like in ways that they are synthetic in the sense that like you can actually grow synthetic meat nowadays. Like you can grow a synthetic steak, but it's still made up of cells and things like that. It's not that it's not inorganic. Does that make sense?
I'm distracted massively by the stock
I'm sorry.
footage.
I know what you're saying is very interesting and intelligent, but what we're watching is literally the worst
where
thing
does
in
the
all of
$8
Star
million
Trek.
budget go here? Where is the
But
budget
not to
going?
this shit. This is garbage.
So
All of it.
I don't know.
I mean, these are good wallpapers.
I like that the message was not for the Zhat Vash or anyone else, but it was for these guys. Like I did
Why are
like
there
that.
so many Federation Starfleet logos in there. Why are there just Starfleet logos all over the
Yeah,
place?
that's a little much, the excessive logoing.
Oh
And
my
apparently some of this stuff is like stock footage that you could buy on Adobe. Apparently, like
A lot of it is stock
Yeah.
footage, yeah.
Most of it is on what are those Shutterstock?
Yeah,
I don't
images and all of that. It's
mind
just
the
like,
prophecy. I don't mind the
go
message of
out
the
there and
prophecy.
fucking film something.
Make
God
some
damn it.
stuff.
yeah.
Make some
Ugh,
stuff.
It was all dreadful, terrible. And like the Fox is a viral YouTube video or something.
No, that's actually free. It's like public domain footage.
Oh,
Like saving some money, guys. It must. I mean, the budget for Picard, most of it must have gone with like, I don't know, executive producer
Picard,
bonuses
so
or
let's just
something.
do it.
Here's the golem. Here's the golem. As soon as we saw it for the first time, we're like, well, that's Picard's body then.
Yeah, they shouldn't even have shown the vision. You know what I mean? They should have just talked about it. Like, don't show it. If you can't do something without going like jacking content from online, then just don't do it. Just
It would have been epic if they made the decision to do a mind meld in the classic style where Spock was always narrating the things that he was seeing and experiencing.
At least it would have felt even more like original series.
Yeah, it
Pain.
would have been really cool if they did that. You're absolutely right.
End of the world, destruction.
I mean, Spock does get like a download of visions when he melds with V'ger, and I think that's where they probably got the inspiration for this from. Remember, like in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, but I would have liked it better if we didn't have those visuals, or if we had original visuals.
I do. There is a question that's around the internet, and it's like the idea that the Romulans, the Zhat Vash, are attempting to extinguish synthetic life. This isn't the only form of synthetic life. We've seen synthetic life in the Delta Quadrant. We saw the race, the prototypes. Like this surely isn't the source. That this isn't the only source that the AI octopus needs to cross over into our realm.
I think something that's lost in execution is it would have been neat if, because Romulans and Vulcans come from a common ancestor, if I'm not mistaken. It would have been neat if they were extremely advanced, just like the Iconians and some of these like billions of years old civilizations were, and that the synths were so kind of defensive, or like the way that they are, because somehow the synthetic Cthulhu or whatever, because they were actually banished to another dimension by those original Vulcan Romulan ancestors or whatever, and that this was their plot or their way. The admonition was like a crack in that dimension, and that was their way. They're manipulating to get back to this dimension. But it would have been really neat if that would have been something like behind their motivation.
That's a whole lot of mix added to this, mate. I'll tell you that.
You just blew my mind.
The little there's like these metallic containers in the scene before where they were talking. That's where they grow the flowers, by the way.
Oh,
they grow the flowers that go into space in those pots of liquid. No, it's true. I'm not lying.
I love it. It's like crazy. They're wild, these things.
So are you telling me that Cyborg Soon saw what was going on in space and he's like, release the flowers?
Yeah,
exactly. I love Cyborg Soon is his new name. That's amazing.
She's got that cute smile, and they're really trying to make me like her character. But it's like, if this had came before the fact she was crying all the time and a murderous person, then maybe I would have liked her. But it's too late now. You need to put her on trial.
I feel like she was traumatized for 5 minutes, and then she's like, I'm fine. Oh no! Oh God! Oh, you have to use your imagination.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of true imagination. Rafi Wonka's Wild Ride.
I love that movie.
See, in TNG, that would basically be like, yeah, so what it does is it latches onto the pulses of your brain synapses, and it basically teaches you how to fix things. But no, in this, it's just like, it fixes things. You have to use your imagination.
I think that, though, it's essentially like, yeah, like it's cryptic for the sake of being cryptic. Like, there's no reason. They could have just said, all you have to do is think about what you need, and the device will like figure it out. So that, I mean,
you could put some gobbledygook in there. You could put some pillar filler in there.
Yeah.
And we need more technobabble. I miss technobabble in Star Trek.
What did they put this in for, though? Like, so my question is,
I love that scene, by the way, with the "I love you" to Rafi. I do love that scene a lot, actually.
How do they?
But they hate each other, though. They hate each other. Well, really Rafi hates him. She's like, "Damn you, JL."
It's like if Trek on the Tube and I were hanging out, and one day he said "I love you," I would feel like Rafi, because he never says it, but I know he feels it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
that's
that
not true. I tell you that I love you.
I know.
You fool! Why do you lie?
Shh! Don't share our relationship with everyone in the audience.
So they took the top of the 3D chess set and then they plopped it on the disc to make another prop. Well, this is like now the non-3-dimensional chess set. Oh, this guy. I forgot him.
Narek. I love Harry Treadaway and his twin brother. What's his name? Luke Treadaway, I think.
He got a twin brother?
Yeah. Luke and Harry Treadaway.
So you didn't even need Narek. Just make him twin synths.
I thought it would have been interesting if he had a twin, though. That would have been cool on the show. Luke, I don't know if he acts as much as Harry does, but one of the Treadaways were in the City of Ember movie. I think that's when I first saw them. Which is an interesting kind of sci-fi concept of a city, a post-apocalyptic city underground that survives like a Holocaust on Earth.
Oh, spoilers.
No, it's not a spoiler. That's just the setup.
I really just don't understand why she would have conflicting feelings about what's going on here. I still don't think a big thing that was dropped, or at least that I still don't feel satisfied with, is like, why were Daj and Soji sent out and their memories wiped, and they were like, we never found out, like, what were they looking for? Surely they would be more effective if they didn't have their memories wiped, right? If they basically
and then
secrets.
It reminded me of how, like, the founders or whatever sent out Odo, right? Like he was part of a bunch of people that they sent out and like whatever.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that, but I just didn't understand what. That's the thing that's like. I don't understand what she was out there looking for. Like, you know, it didn't just, I guess it just didn't, I'm sure it's in there somewhere, but it just didn't
Do
feel
you know
right.
why? Do you know why? Because they didn't know to begin with. And
Well,
then
see,
they
that's
just.
the thing. I know we all have our failings sometimes, and sometimes we just, there are obvious things that we kind of don't understand in plots or what have you. But when it comes to Discovery, like season 1, season 2, when it comes to Picard season 1, sometimes I feel really stupid because, like, even like for the Red Angel thing, I'm like, but what? And I don't understand. There are plenty of things in Picard that I just don't get, and so I would really like to have a sit down with like Chabon or anyone who was like creating the show and was like, explain to me why this. Because maybe they do have a reason.
Just print out the entire script for the entire season, just dump it on his desk. Fud. Explain this, please.
Why was Soji?
I think it was there.
Why was the fake mother implanted in their
Oh
mind?
yeah, all these things. I think all these things were there. I think it got lost in execution. Like I feel like they just sidelined it because something else they wanted to like. Yeah, it felt weird.
Look, Botrek makes a really good point. It's not all bad, though. It is not all bad. I've said it every day since this began. There is good stuff here. Just needed a second draft. Just needed perhaps a little bit more time. Maybe did they rush Picard? Was it to premiere on some platform, or was it a CBS All Access exclusive?
No, I don't think this was rushed at all. I think this was just
That makes it even worse.
Well, no, they had a release date, which is why the final VFX in that.
Fire Festival had a release date too, and we all saw how that turned out.
Oh wow, you're comparing Picard to Fire Festival. I think I got my money's worth on Picard. Not just saying.
What's that?
But I do.
You don't know Fire Festival.
I think that the thing that you don't know about Fire FYRE. I do agree with PJ, and one thing I don't understand is also like the time. Like I get like maybe they want to air this later with commercials, but I really think it's stupid. There's an opportunity with streaming shows to like do them kind of how like WandaVision. Sometimes it's like 30 minutes, sometimes it's like an hour, sometimes you know what I mean. Like it's just tell the story that needs to be told. That's a quote from Trek on the Tube. He says that a lot, and I think it's like,
what do I say? Sorry, I was
like
reading
tell the story
that
like if you only need to tell it in 30 minutes, tell it in 30 minutes. If it needs to be told in it's like
just
don't
limit to. Also, there's a thing that I like. When something shit happens, like when there's a shit episode or like storylines that aren't working in, say, Deep Space Nine or Voyager or anything episodic, you can kind of drop them and move on. Whereas if something doesn't work from the get-go in Picard, you kind of have to drag it on at least to the end of your season, which creates issues for like...
She's so inappropriately touchy.
I don't know, it creates problems in these serialized shows.
The
necklace is underneath now.
What she's doing here is a massive gamble because she knows that that guy represents a fundamental threat to her existence and the existence of what she's essentially trying to protect. Now, what she's trying to do is she's trying to do something that coerces Soji over to the side of the Simps. Not that she really needs to do that. There's more Simps than Soji. And Narek's basically just going to go off and do what?
Why didn't they kill him? Why was he not killed immediately? Because if you're a human, then you kind of feel bad about, I suppose, immediately killing someone. But why wouldn't the synthesis straight up murder Narek when he arrives?
Oh,
when they capture him.
More eye violence. Why do I get all the eye violence episodes?
I also don't get this because, like, how can you kill an android like that?
There might be that is weird. Never mind. I'm not going to explain that.
The amount of times Data was just smashed up in
like
TNG.
It was that easy to kill. It's like a Dalek. You can just kill it by like the eye.
It's like in Disaster. Like,
also, why do they leave the bird in the eye? Like, what's the deal with the? Like,
we saw it, and the music went. Like you're like, oh shit, something's wrong with that.
It's what we were saying last time, isn't it? Yeah. When I melded with her mind.
Apparently.
So what is she doing? Is she framing Narek for the death of iOS 79?
Yes.
I almost feel like these two episodes have nothing to do with anything that's happened like before it in the season. I know that that's not true because it's all the Soji stuff, but it feels so disconnected.
I'm not willing to say that much, but I sense that. Like, I do see what you're saying. Like,
I was impressed by the fact that this two-parter didn't do a massive space battle.
I prefer part one.
Really, I think they're both ass, but
It's like saying, would you like to be smashed over the head by a brick or smashed over the head by a leaf wrapped in a brick? They're both going to bludgeon me. But I would go with the leaf.
You mean a brick wrapped in a leaf?
Yeah.
Because you can't wrap a leaf with a brick.
I see them as one thing. Like, I see them as like perfectly continuous of like it could have just aired as a movie, in fact. Like,
I really don't understand Soji's conflicts as well, because up until this point she's like, yeah, I refuse to accept that I'm a simp, I'm a human, and then all of a sudden she becomes the champion of the simps, and it's like, again, I just need to understand timescales a little bit more. Like, how long has it been since she's realized what she is? Has she been able to process that grief properly?
I would have
If
loved
not,
to be an extra, though, to be one of those synths just standing there.
she seems to have been a part of the society. Her mind was wiped. She was sent out into the world to do some sort of reconnaissance or some sort of mission. And now that she's back, it seems like those thoughts, those memories have come back to her. And so now she has like the experience of that out there mixed with like realizing what happened, but again, not explained well enough, in my opinion. I really wanted to know more about that whole why she was even like sent out in the first place.
I have a question. As Trekkies, we sometimes just go back and rewatch seasons, like episodes of whatever show, like TNG or whatever. Do you guys feel like you'll be doing this with Picard in 20 years?
Sorry,
do you think you'll just go back and rewatch an episode or rewatch a season of Star Picard?
I would definitely watch Nepenthe again. Like, I feel like Nepenthe is the best episode of the season.
If people paid me enough money, I'd do it again.
Okay.
And I might watch this finale. It is exciting. Like, I mean, I know we're harping on it a little bit and pointing out all of our critiques, but as far as the action and everything and like all the drama here, it is, to me, it was exciting, and it still is.
It's not to me. I'm going to be honest. I find barely anything redeemable in this. Like, I just don't think it's good. By this point, though, I am attached to
Girardi's got a thing for like
characters.
older cyberneticists. She's totally flirting with Inigo Soong here, and she's all like, "I found my place. I found my new daddy, who I might murder also."
Well, I want to know how Inigo Soong and Bruce Maddox were working together. You know, it's never, you never even get the feeling that Bruce Maddox even touched foot here or stepped foot here. Like,
well, yeah, these are all things that they could have explored instead of, a whole bunch of other things that are in the season. But
Stardust City Rag had an opportunity to like be more of a flashback to Soong. I mean, to the Soong relationship. He mentions it. He says, "Me, you, and Soong, we did it." Right? Like, that's what he says. So that also confuses me, because did Girardi know of the existence of Inigo Soong? Because it seems like he's a surprise to everyone, right? Like, I don't know.
Like, how did she?
I disagree with you, Ian. He says it's science fiction. It's not meant to be believable. I disagree with that. Everything is supposed to be believable and make sense within its own context and with its own universe.
I think science fantasy is less meant to be.
No, but even so, everything's supposed to make sense in its own kind of universe, right? It needs to have its own rules.
Yeah,
I feel like there's. Yeah. I'm kind of on the fence with this, because I feel like sometimes we get a bit too precious about science fiction having to make sense. I mean, the amount of stuff that we see in Legacy Trek that doesn't actually make sense.
Oh, that's
but,
fine. It's like I don't care about the fact that they
because
took
it's
like
well
the
written,
DNA of Data.
yeah. But because it's well written, we go, that's fine. I don't see any problems. I guess the issue with Picard, though, and is that when they kind of explain away the magic of the technology by saying you have to use your imagination, like that's a writer not even bothering to try and help us understand why some of this stuff exists. It's how. Why does Soji look like a human while all of her brothers and sisters have the gold complexion?
Well, it's because she was intentionally sent out. Maybe she did have the gold complexion when she,
maybe she did, but
like, and they
different.
changed it, to send her out. But apparently, she's also like among them. She's somehow more advanced or something. Because later on, I can't remember right now, but next episode, why is she the one that has to build the antenna array and like do the, like the whole thing? Like I forget the reason now, but
she's the destroyer.
She's the destroyer. That's right.
She's the main character.
I'm not expecting, and I think I said this on a previous episode. I'm not expecting them to spend an hour explaining everything. Some of my favorite literature and some of my favorite science fiction / horror is the Lovecraftian variety, where you're not supposed to understand it. It's supposed to be beyond comprehension, and therein lies the wonderment and the horror and the fascination. So you can make an argument that some of this stuff doesn't have to be explained. Some of it can be magic, because if you take us in 2021 and we see technology from 2399, it should be magic. It should be beyond our comprehension. The inner workings of it, the application of it should just be, wow, that's amazing. But we do see that in Star Trek. The transporters is impossible by our current technology. It is magic. But Star Trek has taken steps to kind of go, well, what it does is it breaks down your atoms and it beams them down and it rematerializes and that kind of stuff.
By the way, we have managed to transport one atom, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from one location to another. Where it becomes like where it's infeasible is that you have to actually digitize. You have to destroy the atom, digitize it, and then rematerialize it on the other end. And so we just don't have the computing power to like completely digitize a person, let's say, or something larger than that at the moment. So that's what it does, is like it creates a pattern of you, stores it in the buffer, sends it down, rematerializes you. It is magical. It's true. It's very magical type of technology, but based on that, like, people are making strides in that direction, which is really, really neat. But I think Arthur C. Clarke said something like that, and I think it's been quoted in Star Trek, that a sufficiently advanced society, their technology would appear as though it's magic. And so that does explain the sonic screwdriver that she gives her, like, you know what I mean? Like, they are so advanced apparently that they have magical technology.
And I'm fine with that to a certain extent. But sometimes some of this technology does come across as just being a shortcut to B.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's the thing. I have no problem with the lore and with like anything that they establish, because like even they said that they use Data's DNA to reconstruct what it's like. Data doesn't have DNA. He's a friggin' android, so it doesn't make sense. But like, I'm okay with all of these things, even if they don't make sense. Even the screwdriver, I'm fine with it existing. It's just the way that they use them or the execution of these ideas that I find very bizarre. Like the screwdriver thing is fine, but then they do all the holographic heads of Girardi. I don't know.
Myself and Starfleet Boy have that to look forward to tomorrow.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look, I think if anybody drops in on one of these live streams and they just see a couple of people just ragging on Stardust City, ragging on Picard, it is what it is.
I feel we were fair and we were just asking questions mostly, and I think, like, I know You know, the thing
Not
about
for
this
me because I
format,
really didn't like these two last ones.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
we
like
know.
I don't like them, but I
We
was
know, we
kind
know.
enough. I feel like to the other
You were
ones.
kind
that
of.
I liked.
I think the thing is that what's fun about this, like these watch alongs, is you only have a little bit of time to say what you want to say, right? Like, because you kind of have to keep going, right? Like, we can't just you can't spend the whole episode just talking about one thing because there's so much to like touch on. So it is fun. I like this format a lot. It was really cool to do it like this.
We're going to be doing a bunch more, and I'm going to have more details on that very, very shortly. But I think we've run our course, Starfleet Boy. I know that you need to bounce, Starfleet Boy. Trek on the Tube. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here once again. Thank you so much for joining. And
I love the audience that showed up. It was pretty awesome to see all these awesome people
quality.
and interacting too. I love the comments that we got too, and
Yes,
also explaining some things that I had forgotten about too. So
Very
thanks AJ and
important.
everyone. Yeah.
Participation. Thank you so much for joining everybody in the live chat. To both of you, you're legends. Thank you so much. Starfleet Boy, I'll see you tomorrow. Trek on the
Good
Tube.
luck on that.
You're bouncing. Give us your overall thoughts on Picard season 1. What do you want to see in season 2? Trek on the Tube.
I want to see a smaller scale story in season 2, and I want to see our main characters kind of be more united and going off on their own little mission. Like I always talked about how I thought Picard would be literally just an archaeological mission. I thought that it would be Picard going out to dig up an artifact because he heard rumors about an artifact that could unite the Romulan and the Vulcan people. And I thought that that's what we were going to get. So I wouldn't mind something along those lines. You know what I mean?
That's an Enterprise. It's called the
Captain's Holiday. Captain's Holiday.
No,
you're talking about the triangular thing, but that's only a Vulcan thing. There's no
okay,
Romulan
got it.
kind of
Sorry,
involved in that.
it's like a Destructo thing. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind having a smaller scale thing, like not an end of world thing, and I wouldn't mind. I'm kind of over the Federation of the bad guys at this point. I just I get the concept.
I think they repair that in this. I think they repair that in the next episode. I also want to just say you're right. I think archaeological story would be amazing. I think it would just be
as
amazing.
Much as he looked like a very colonialist in that outfit. I do see the Indiana Jones kind of Picard just going out there and he's ready to dig, you know. And I would have been like Narek would have been fine as kind of more of a sleazy guy that wants to steal this artifact for himself to go and sell it or something. You know what I mean?
I'm sticking with my original idea from a few nights ago. I want to see Picard in season 2 try to solve the mystery of who's stealing his bottles of Chateau Picard. That's what I want. I just want a small, and we find out we find out it's Vash. Well, we find out it's Q, and he's just fucking with him, and he's just like, ha 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 ha. That perfect. That's what I want. Right, guys, we're all out of time.
I don't think season 1 is the worst season of Star Trek of Picard. By the way, like I'm not on a complete hate fence. I just think that the execution or a lot of it, and I think that like a lot of the wrap ups weren't very well handled, and that's probably why I dislike the 2-part finale more than the rest of the season itself.
Well, that's
because
interesting.
It doesn't wrap up anything correctly. It just. But
what would you say?
They have characters and a nice sandbox to play with in season 2, so things can come from this. Good things.
I feel like it's a conversation for another time. So let's cue it up. What is the worst first season of Star Trek ever? Let us know in the comments. But we are wrapping up. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. GMT, for the finale of Picard in Arcadia Ego Part 2. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow as well, Starfleet Boy. Until then, stay happy, stay safe, live long, and prosper.